what is in the box.
Well, I just got this package from Penson company, and we're going to have to see what's in the box today. Let's see what they sent us to evaluate. What is it? Ooh, alright. It's the 80cc motor kit. Okay. Let's see how this is all in the box here. Looks like it's pretty well packed. Got the motor, we got the gas tank, the muffler's in here. Got the throttle accessories here. Looks pretty good. Wow, that's a massive motor. We got the motor. Forgot to flip the screen around. Chain drive. Muffler. Idler pulley. Handlebar grips. Ignition kit. Wheel hub parts. Muffler bracket. Spark plugging accessories. Throttle. Chain looks pretty good. And carburetor. Oh, and wait, we got some instructions here. Actually, full color instructions. And it's not even in Chinese English. Looks pretty good. Now, one thing we want to measure here before you pick out your bicycle is the diameter of your mounting post to appropriately sit on the mounting bracket here. So with the carburetor, this is a die-cast carburetor. Some sources say that you want to use non-ethanol containing gas to avoid corrosion in some of these. Alright, so we're going to start our work on the installation of the 80cc motor. Let's talk about the bike that we chose to work on this. This is the Huffy Cranbrook Cruiser, 26-inch bike. Has a couple good features, one of which is $90 at Walmart. The second is the seat post bar is 1.25 inches. It mics out really nicely to 1.25 inches, which is perfect for the motor mount. It does not have handbrakes. It has a coaster brake, which hopefully that'll be good enough. So we'll see if that works or not. We may have to install a handbrake later as a separate operation. It has fenders, which I think will be a nice feature to keep mud off of us. It has a quick adjust seat post, but it's a very simple design, so I'm optimistic that that's going to be a good setup as opposed to having a derailleur and having two-hole chain systems to really deal with.
Comes with a pretty gnarly colored instruction manual.
The first process is to take off the back wheel and install the sprocket, so we're going to do that now.
This turd is ridiculously loose now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. There you go, I got that one pretty easy.
I guess we can get some gloves. Okay, so we think we've isolated the parts to attach the sprocket to the rim. Now you have to take, on one of the two rubbers, you have to cut it open, if you can, so that you can put it inside the wheel. Nice. Just don't cut your fingers off. So there we have it. This one's going to go inside like that. Ta-da! And the other one's going to go on the outside like that. Ga-dong!
We'll adjust the shock.
So we're going to go like pretty much like that, and then we have to use the metal binding plates. So that's going to be there. So we have to take off the coaster brake. All right. So make sure you know how to get it back on. Okay.
Shook.
Look at that dexterity.
You get it? It's
Show.
always what I'm on film. Bam.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, so all 9 of those. Oh, what are we doing? Ha! That would be me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what's wrong with this picture? As you're tightening these down in an alternating fashion, also you want to make sure that the hub, that the sprocket that is centered on the axle. So we're doing pretty good here. We've got this pretty centered, and you can adjust it a bit and then finish tightening it. Pretty good right there. You're listening. Deviation can be no more than 1.5 millimeters each way. Any side-to-side deviation. Okay. So we should put it back in the frame and see if we like the way that spins. We've mounted the tire back on the frame so we can check the alignment of the sprocket. Give it a twirl there. And so you see it's not in plane right now, so we've got to do a little bit of work. So we're going to take the highest point outward, which is about there, and screw it in that way. So now we've adjusted several of the bolts, and now we're pretty good in plane. So we took the coaster brake down into the shop and we put a bend in it because it was hitting on the bolts here. Now we've got better clearance. I think that's going to work a lot better if we stick with the coaster brake.
Oh, we had a problem. And so this is the motor, and we're trying to mount it to the frame. And
this one worked fine. The back one, the seat post one, works good.
But this main frame bar is too thick for this thing.
For the cutout.
Yeah, for the cutout. Yeah, so we're going to use this alternate mounting device.
And we cut a wooden spacer that we're going to find a way to fix to give us the clearance. Now we got clearance to mount these bolts to hold this plate in place. And then we're going to use the U-bolt from the bottom, and we're going to bolt up from below to fasten the motor. So I think that's going to work, right?
Yeah,
I think it'll work pretty good for that. So now the motor is mounted to the frame. You can see where we have our wood block adapter, and the motor is mounted to the frame with the U-bolt that they provided, and on the seat post we're securely mounted. I put some electrical tape under the metal clamps for a better grip and to decrease vibration, maybe not scratch the frame. Now it's time to install the throttle controls. So we're going to have to take off the existing grip. So that fits pretty good right now. So looking at the kill switch and throttle assembly, again, here's the locating pin, and we've drilled a hole here. Now, the way this goes together is the big clunky end here is the end that actually goes into the throttle controller. So we got to screw this in nicely. So perhaps in this direction, so it'll go along the handlebar. Then you can tighten down this nut eventually with the wrench. So now you can see the barrel on the end of the cable, which is going to go into the receiving hole here on the controller, like that. Perfect. And we're going to try and assemble this back the way it goes and put our little pin where it wants to be. I'd say right about there is good, and then we can tighten that down. Pretty good. Now the clutch cable, as you can see, comes down around the motor and goes through this block, and you slide the spring over it and put it through the clutch lever and pull it in until it's just about to make resistance and actually engage the clutch and tighten it down. That way, when you press the lever, it will disengage the clutch. And you'll adjust that more later. With the carburetor, if you take the cover off the carburetor, you can see a couple things. So obviously this is the choke, and you're going to want to remember that this little nice Chinese symbol here means full choke, and this windier symbol means no choke. Okay, so there's the throttle, and the throttle is activated by the cable pulling through here. So we have to take this apart. We have to attach the cable inside of that mechanism. So we're going to unscrew this top here carefully because it's spring loaded, like I said, and we have to take this apart a bit more to get the cable attached inside there. If you dump this upside down, the barrel will come out, the throttle barrel, and you can see the little barrel on the end of the cable has to come down to here to pull up and down on the throttle. So we're going to put the barrel through the top of the throttle control housing. Okay, so we're going to put the spring back on here under compression. That's going to be fun. There's got to be an easier way, which probably involves taking our hand grip off of here again. Okay, we're going to put the barrel in there, and now that's nicely spring loaded. Now we're going to insert that back into the housing. Okay, so this slot is going to go lined up with the pin here, and this reassembles. And now we need to reattach the throttle to the hand grip. When we pull the throttle controller, we can see that that's going to open up the throttle nicely. Okay, and so we can see that the carburetor is now attached nicely onto the motor, and we can tighten it down, and we can put the cover back on. Right, so we've attached the ignition module to the frame with a zip tie, and we've attached, this is the spark plug wire, the blue wire to the blue wire of the motor, and the black wire to the black wire of the motor, and the kill switch, the black wire to the black and the red to the blue. I think that's going to be the correct arrangement. And now we'll attach the spark plug.
Yeah, but the spark plug is already coming up too high for me to get down on that.
What a great design they gave us. Okay. Oh, you can take the top. You can take the top off the screw. Off the. Anyways, that'll give us a little more room. Okay.
There you go. There
Okay.
you go. So
Good.
nice and
Yeah,
tight.
nice. And with the cover of the spark plug off, we can attach the spark plug wire. That's good. We'll attach the muffler now. Now we'll mount the gas tank with the contoured brackets supplied and a washer, lock washer, and a nut. Push. And on the fuel tank. Alright, so we've attached the chain. We took about yay much, 2.5 inches of chain. We've attached the chain. It's impinging upon the fender here. We're going to have to trim the fender. We've attached the idler. And it's going to hit this bar here, and I don't think there's a good solution for that. It's just going to make a mess of it. Okay, we solved the problem with the fender. We've made some cutaways for the chain. Our tension is good. So now we have to reattach the coaster brake. We have to make a new coaster brake bracket because the old one isn't going to be long enough in its new position. Here's our modified coaster brake retainer clip. And we'll put the fender supports back on and we'll be ready to gas it up and see what happens, I guess.
Here we are. Our first run of this motorized bicycle. Let's do this.
Okay, so choke. That's choke. Okay, fuel's on. We'll be going down to the street though, so.
Hey, you want to go down there and watch them from down there? You want to go down the driveway and watch them from down there?
Seems that we have some chain issues. This time for real. Here we go. This time it'll work.
Pop the clutch. Pretty good.
It hardly looks like a bike anymore. It just looks like a skinny motorcycle.
So I think we'll trim the rear fender there a little bit more. The chain's kind of close. Otherwise, our installation's pretty tight. It seems to be good. I don't see any real problems for the moment. We'll put a few more miles on it and report back, I guess. So you definitely recommend long pants, though, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of hot parts there. So all in all, what do we think? I think it was a pretty good kit. Thanks to Penson and Company for sending us the motor to evaluate. Alex, what did you think about the manual?
The manual was pretty clear on everything that was in here. The pictures were really helpful, but it didn't cover everything. Like the chain installation wasn't covered. You know, it's just, if the manual was more well-rounded, it would be 5 out of 5 stars. But yo, Jim, I mean, this kind of a big motor, 80 cc's. What do you think? Think it's gonna be a problem with that?
Well, so the thing is, most states have moped laws that limit mopeds to 50 cc's. Now, this motor is supposed to be 80 cc's. The Chinese motors are calculated in a different method than American displacement, so it's hard to say what the real displacement of this engine is. Second, there's no manufacturer's nameplate, there is no serial number, and there is no displacement stamped on the motor in any way. So I think if you did want to go to the DMV and get it registered, and if you said it was 49 cc's, or if you made a plate and put it on there that said 49 cc's, I think they'd have a hard time arguing with you if you wanted to register it as a moped. So Alex, what did you think about it as a project and from your level of skill?
Well, I thought it was super fun to learn on this motor. It was not super complex. I feel like it'd be a great, father-son project. Something fun to do, something fun.
Do you think it'll last?
Do I think it'll last? I'm not sure. I have to, beat it up a little bit more, see how well it'll take it.
Would you recommend it to your friends?
We had to do a lot of tinkering ourselves with the parts. I'm sure most of them won't have the proper equipment to do so, and plus the cost of getting a whole nother bike or ruining their own bike, plus the cost of the motor wouldn't justify getting the motor itself. But that does not mean that this is not super fun, and I'm sure it would be a viable means of transportation for some people, and instead of a full-blown moped or small motorcycle, I'm sure it'll get the job done, and it's super light compared to those. So yeah.
Okay, well, there you have it. There's a link to Penson and Company for this motor on the video, and I hope you enjoyed watching us put this all together, and I look forward to doing other reviews in the future, and thanks a lot for watching.